One of the things that we're seeing is really around the business case. I usually have discussions with my clients around the business case, right? That's where we are, because we have, thank God, gone from talking about commitments and what we're going to do to how we're going to do it. And that's why now it is crucial to understand how. That's also how do we finance, right? But still, in a lot of business cases, we see that it's hard to place a value on sustainability. And a lot of companies still don't measure the cost of inaction. They see an investment, they want a return of invest, it has to happen in X number of years. But what happens if, because you didn't make the investment, you lose 20% market share 9 years from now, right? They're not putting a price on that. So that's number one, that the business case evaluation models are outdated.
So the importance of committing, of knowing that this is something that we have to achieve urgently and together, is something that many times the business sector doesn't take into consideration as so important, but quite sometimes the opposite. They remain shy. There's no longer moment for shyness. This is a moment of courage. And courage means not only committing, acting, but also embracing others.
So political leaders are not listening to the citizens, the normal people, as much. Maybe they did once, but not anymore. But they do listen to business, and they certainly listen to businesses when they get together. Businesses have an extremely strong voice in two ways. They are listened to when they talk to the political leaders in the country, but they are also influencing their customers. I mean, we can take an example. Sweden is a small country. We have 10 million citizens. But if you take all the global corporation with headquarters in Sweden, IKEA is one of them, but we have many others, we're talking about billions of customers. So Swedish corporation, just to take Sweden as an example, can influence billions of people through their businesses. So they can and must use their voice.
So I would say the key issue today for the leaders is actually when you build this plan, how you build in profitability in the short and medium term, and how we can get basically the things in place which makes it possible to drive this in a profitable way. I think that would be the key question for most of them.
But for business to keep motivated in investment and investing in this agenda, it's important for us to also have some more clarity on return on investment. So it needs to be something predictable. We need frameworks. So we need to partner with governments and civil society as a whole to develop those frameworks so that our return on investments are more predictable. But basically, I really believe that the main role of businesses is to scale up those solutions faster and faster.
Carbon Pool is very much about looking at what's out there in terms of projects that are insurable.
Yep.
And what can we do to help those projects scale by insuring them? Because the interesting thing is insurance is one of those mechanisms that we're just used to having. So we can't really imagine a world without insurance. But when we're looking at the net zero transition, almost everything we do is uninsured. And that is holding back a lot of the investment. Because investors are risk averse. They don't want to do things where there's the real possibility that they will lose their entire investment.
Because when insurance companies assess risk, they base it on historical risk, which means that because climate risk is something that we usually haven't seen in the past, or it's difficult to quantify for insurance companies. It poses additional risk, which means that some of the companies that are in renewable energy production, really innovative technologies, their risks, operational risk and so on, are not quantifiable, which poses a risk for the insurance companies. And that makes it difficult for insurance companies to sometimes actually insure new businesses.